Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Comic Books News Today. It is March, and it is the 16th. Oh my, time is flying. The coronavirus is in the air. Oh, that's not good. That's probably not. I probably shouldn't have went with that. Oh well. But we certainly will have to cover a little bit of coronavirus because it is the news of every day these days, which is kind of weird because over here in Japan, we're kind of getting past it. But I guess in the West, it's just starting to hit you. So we'll see how all that goes, and we'll get into those conversations. But very happy to have you guys here. Thank you for joining us. Do keep in mind that we have all our links down below. Please check those out. We also would love to have you on here if you hit me up on the Twitter and come over and be a guest because we'd love to talk to you. Keep in mind that this week we will not have the Drone and Quartered Fan Edition. We are going to instead be having something from our boy Booster, who is our
Oh yeah.
favorite pie eater. What's up, dude?
I'm here at the moment. I'm having a chicken and aioli sandwich.
A what?
Chicken and aioli.
Chicken and aioli. What the hell is an aioli? That doesn't sound edible.
It, it's garlic mayonnaise.
Does it? Because it sounds like. Oh, I won't get into that. That's quite disgusting, actually.
Were you gonna refer to jizz or something?
No, I was gonna, say a pig's ass, but it's all right.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can assure you it's delicious.
Garlic mayonnaise. I guess we'll go with that.
What I'm going to attempt to do is do something called Booster's very own drawing show. There's not very much interest in the way of artists, but you know how they are, right? They'll sign up at the last fucking hour, right? Oh, ding ding, excuse me. I'm
That's
on my
true.
own show now.
Yeah, that's right. Ding ding. Yeah.
Ding ding, yes. And I wanted to do an MS Paint thing where I get like professional artists to draw on MS Paint with their mouse, just like I do. And they can draw whatever the hell they want, as long as they're on MS Paint with a mouse.
Sounds like fun to me. We did ourselves a little bit of Scribbattle last week, which was interesting.
I love it. I
Definitely,
love John Diller's show Scribble. It's actually a very good show.
it's
That
fun.
Scribbattle.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
because he's got Evan, and Evan is a straight up software guy, and
Yep, yep.
he knows how to do all that, make it look cool and stuff. So I had a lot of fun myself just playing along. But definitely check that out this week, guys. It's going to be a Boosters channel, and how do
Have
we
you,
find Boosters channel?
oh, you can find me at Booster Kiwi. If I just yell at people in the chat here, you can just click my name and you can subscribe to me there. And also, Jesse, did you hear Evan talk? He sounds suspiciously just like Pixel Trader.
He
And
does,
we're
and
both software guys.
I've kind of
It's a
wondered
little.
about that. Yeah, that's
What's up with that?
interesting. Yeah, yeah. His
Uh,
his schizophrenia is starting to leak out, I think. But
hmm hmm
can't say nothing bad about Pixel Trader because he's a beautiful man. Absolutely
Yeah,
beautiful man.
yeah. Please don't hack and destroy our accounts.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, we love you.
Uh,
Yeah. But of course, standing splendiferously resplendent upon the mount with a
Standing,
poised erectness,
poised, baby,
he bombastically bellows and proclaims to whinge or to whinge not.
bellowing
That is
while
the
erect.
judgment. He is Thundero.
Hello. Apparently, I'm very
Praise be.
erect at the moment, according to Mr. Busby over here.
Come on now. That for off the top of my head, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Come
Oh,
on now.
I started cracking up as soon as you said my erectness. I said, "Whoa, Chester, how did you know?"
If you go back and look at all the adjectives, it actually it sounds dirty, but it's not. How you doing, dude?
Uh, I am wonderful. My country is literally burning and falling apart. People are stabbing each other over water. It's everything I could hope for.
Yeah, but it's only a certain demographic of people are stabbing each other over water, I'm sure.
It's everything I could hope for. No, I'm just kidding.
Huh?
uh, we have what I like to call perfect chaos brewing, and it's very nice to see. I think America is long overdue for some perfect chaos. We've been way too docile for a long time. So I think this virus is going to be a good thing. In fact, it's turned pretty much everybody into conservatives real quick. You notice that? It's refreshing.
Yeah. Well, there
Everybody's
are
closing borders. Everybody's
yeah.
for you know, pricing some form of free markets and black markets and everything. All this is happening. It's good to see.
Yeah, no. Hopefully there'll be some good lessons learned out of this. But I'm not going to keep my fingers crossed. But of course, also we all have over here we have juking and jiving, slipping and sliding. It's Slick Willie. Oh, sorry, Slick Jimmy. Hey, what's up, dude?
Don't use
Oh,
weird
I'm just
words like
hanging
that.
out.
You'll excite him.
I know, right?
I don't like it when Slick Jimmy gets excited.
Yeah,
so, so
poor
what's up?
Booster's about to lose an appendage if that's true.
Oh God! Oh. Oh, there it is, folks. There it is. But we do got a bunch of news we're going to get into today, so we might as well just. Well, I'll jump into it in a second. While I go over and look at the chat and say hello, I want to see if any of our guys here have something they want to speak about before we do that. But let's see what we got here. We got Nick in here. He says free Denali. Yeah, well, he's in the wild, sir. He needs to be rechained, I think. We got Roger in here, which is always awesome, and he's being very hopeful and he's being very positive as he always is. That's awesome. We got the woolly mammoth in here. It says wasn't me or was it? Ooh. We got Ara. Hey, what's up, Ara? We got a night pope up in here. Someone distract me, please. Okay. We got Joshua. Nice to see you, Joshua. Our most favorite troll, of course. Adrian, comics news today, and we're going to be talking about a lot of comic book stuff actually. The first one I don't know anything about actually today, but it seems like I should, so should be fun. Night Pope says my mom had to convince my 89-year-old grandpa to not take public transportation to attempt to find hand sanitizer. Oh, I see. Okay. Uh, yes, let's not let grandpa on the public transport. So you guys have anything to say before I jump into it?
Let's get right into the news.
Thank you.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Oh, it's a good
I don't know
song.
why I'm doing jazz hands, but I'm doing
Jazz hands, my God! And why does Booster's jokes always British instead of New Zealander? Are you a traitor, sir?
What's all this?
He's half bred. It's all right.
It
He's all
is. It is. Well, he was
What you
born
say
there.
about me? I screw me mom.
right.
Alrighty then.
Oh,
Here we go. All right, so let's jump right into it. Now, this first bit of news, this is the one I meant here. It says Valiant, because I've read quite a bit of Valiant in my life. I'm not happy with what they're doing now. It's gone milkshake, and you should never go full milkshake. It is pretty bad. But I've never heard of Savage. And it's
Valiant
Max
is
Bemis
Savage,
and Nathan
back
Stockman.
with brutality and humor, thanks to Max Bemis and Nathan Stockman. I don't
Yeah.
know who this Nathan Stockman is, but we know that Max Bemis is a insufferable guy.
A little bit,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a rock star, isn't he? And he goes on about having mental illnesses and schizophrenia or some crap, or bipolar or something.
Yeah.
And I believe he told people on Twitter, it was years ago, but I believe he said something to do with sucking my ass, I believe.
Oh, maybe, possibly. That's that guy. Yeah, yeah. But when you see the art a little closer up, it's not actually that bad. Uh, so I'm not hating on
It's
it.
it's decent art. It just looks how do I say it? Gay? Is
Maybe.
that a midget?
I think so.
Is that a midget?
Midget lives matter. But I mean, the thing for me that oh goodness, someone
I just
tickled.
find midgets funny.
Well, we all do. Sure. That's why they all work in entertainment and make tons of money. Can anyone tell me anything about Savage? I've never heard of this book ever, but it sounds like it's a return. And like I said, I've been reading Valiant since I was young, so I don't.
Critically acclaimed writer Max Bemis.
Nobody?
What has he
No one
done that's
knows anyway.
critically acclaimed?
Definitely critical.
So
Yeah.
is this just Encino Man, the comic book?
Maybe.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it feels like
Tarzan?
that. It feels like that. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, why not? We needed more of that, I guess. I don't know. It just doesn't really that whole story never really interests me. Bring a wild man to the city. Ooh.
Well,
Okay.
he says that Savage is the biggest story I've ever told, and in it, my aesthetic turned up to 11 and crammed into the skin of a summer blockbuster film," said Max. If you dig the more fun and up-tempo stuff, I've done the worst X-Men ever. This is the book you've been waiting for. All right, well, that doesn't really exude confidence. I don't mind the art though, and I don't mind the concept
Hmm.
either. But it's just something weird for me because it says it's back, and I've never ever heard of this comic book. Has anyone in the chat heard of it? I mean, let me check it out.
I never have. It just looks like a slice of life comic with the whole, with the trope of having the wild man come to the city,
Yes.
which I don't know if that's ever been done very well. It's just not an interesting concept.
Well, your
Like,
country did it really well with Crocodile Dundee.
mhm,
His
mhm.
country.
You savage, you. Yeah,
Yes, but
I
the good
mean,
thing about
that's
Crocodile Dundee
I
is that
know he's an Aussie, but he's still not a savage man, a
yes,
wild man.
he comes to the big city, but then eventually they go back to his area, and it makes more sense. This just looks like what Booster said, just like basically a big slice of life, except he's a savage, which I'm surprised they're even allowed to call it that in this day and age,
Well,
without
his
somebody
name is
losing their mind.
Savage.
Oh, oh, Fontaine, sauvage.
So a French feral man. Neat.
Right, exactly, yeah. But
Oh, that
whatever.
hurts
I just thought it was interesting article because I'd never heard of Savage before. But Jiminy says, "Howdy do, Chester. Let me know when you want to have Nasser in on a talk of our comic. A secret comic presents Making
Oh,
Nasser Bald. Well, I've already spoken to Nasser, and I have scheduled you guys for 8
oh
p.m.
no.
Wednesday.
Are you
So
gonna
for
have
Fanspeak,
NASA?
I am.
Oh
You know,
no.
come on, I like Nasser. You guys are always so mean.
He's okay, I
me.
guess.
Nasser's a good boy. He didn't do nothing.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. It seems that other people love midgets too in the chat booster,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Midgets
good.
are great. They're just naturally funny. You just see them,
Yeah.
they kind of waddle around, they try to reach for things. It's great.
Oh God, here it is. Uh, uh, Eric says it was a new Valiant character in 2016. Oh, okay, well I didn't catch it because yeah, didn't catch it. But then again, I kind of turned my back on the Valiant a little bit because they're a bunch of, I don't know what's the word, jagoffs. Oh, okay. But anyway, moving along, I just thought it was an interesting little article. Now we get into coronavirus. Uh,
Hooray, let's go into that. Oh, God. All right. Seattle's Emerald City Comic Con rescheduled for summer 2020.
Good on you.
Hashtag ECCC.
No, that's good though. I mean that's what they should do. I wish they had
Social
announced that
distancing,
initially.
people.
Well, social
I
distancing.
know for you gamers, internet guys, and comic book readers, I know social distancing is really difficult, all right? But if you could just stay inside for just a few weeks, we'll get through this.
What do you guys think about this green-haired slab of meat here?
That's
Uh,
Shagger.
I'd rather be a eunuch.
Come on,
Yeah,
Oh,
that
Booster.
sound like it.
This is
I'm
one
just
of the
saying,
ones you
I'd
need to
tackle
roll
the
in the flour
challenge.
and look for the wet spot. I mean, come on. I mean, and look at the absolute cuck behind her. Look at that guy.
Oh no, he has the exact same hair.
He
They have
does.
matching
It's
hairstyles.
it's
Nice.
well, she's leaning to the left and he's leaning to the right. Mhm. I mean, but aside from this absolutely hilarious
He
picture,
must be a Nazi. He's
man,
leaning
well,
to
he
the
kind of
right.
looks like a little mini Hitler, doesn't he? But and of course they are, communist, which is same as fascism. It's all socialism, Marxism.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get them all in there?
Mm-hmm.
I did. But aside from this ridiculous picture, I'm actually happy about that. That's good. That's what you should do. You don't need to
Oh, that little
completely
cutie.
cancel it. Just move it back and get it done, right? What do
A
you say
little
about?
problematic glass.
Oh,
Oh, she's a
this
little
girl?
cutie up there with the problematic glasses.
Oh, dude, she's got something to teach you. See, it used to be
Mm-hmm.
when I was young, and Slick can confirm this for you. That right there was the librarian that you banged on the weekends. You see, but this
Nice.
changed, Slick. The librarians have turned on us, sir. They've gone sour.
Yeah, you don't want to play with the librarians anymore.
Yeah, it's too
Librarians used to
bad.
be like you once you flip the switch on them.
Oh my
But
God,
now,
dude, I love
eee,
the sexy librarian. That's an awesome thing.
Yeah,
oh
that was a
man,
real
like
shame.
she's like, we got these books here in the back. Would you like to come see them? I'm like, oh yes, I would.
And then she actually has books. That
And then she
bitch.
take you to the deep stacks, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I'm not being metaphoric either. I've definitely enjoyed a sexy librarian. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, let's move on.
Next story.
Next story, but I'm happy they're doing that though. That's what you should do. Good on you. Good on you, Emerald City. Oh goodness gracious, more
Hollywood's
coronavirus.
set to lose over 20 billion over coronavirus delays. Oh,
So
ripping
what's
spaghetti,
new?
Hollywood.
Right, what's
This
new?
virus
Right,
gets better all the time. I
right.
tell you.
Anyone but Hollywood, the best of moral
All of
authority
the
that
pedophiles.
Yeah.
God has to offer.
Well,
Oh
they've
no.
been losing a lot of money over the past several years anyway. So I mean, what do you want? But what are they mentioning here that has been specifically canceled? A Quiet Place 2. Didn't see the first one. Mulan. That movie was a train wreck happening anyway. Fast
Fast
9.
and the Furious 9.
Goodness gracious. No Time to Die.
No
Of
time to.
course, we know the New Mutant
James
ones
Bond.
was
Right?
pushed back as well. So
Oh no.
yeah. But man, that's all right. And the only reason, keep in mind, this is self mutilation because they could have released it, but they're pulling it back because they don't think they'll make as much money from people not going to the theaters, which makes sense. But I think in the
Well,
end,
yeah, because they charge literally your mortgage to go watch one movie. It's ridiculous anymore. How much you have to pay just for one ticket in some parts of the country. Some parts of the country, it's like $18 a ticket for
yeah.
one ticket.
Yeah,
Well, it's been
I
like
don't
that
go
in
see
Japan
movies
for
anymore.
30 years, dude.
Oh man.
I don't go except on like matinees. Like they have like a $5 Tuesday,
Oh
and
yeah.
you can go and pick it up like in a matinee, and that's when
How
I
was
go.
that? Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got like it only cost me $12 my own currency. Yeah,
Oh
that's like
wow,
a
that's cheap.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But I
I'm
mean,
pretty
that's
fortunate.
well, then inflation's a real deal in America. No
I
one's
get.
talking about it.
We don't have fancy theaters though. The only IMAX theater we have is in Auckland, so maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Wow. And that's
IMAX theaters are way expensive though.
Yeah.
I I don't know. I don't like. I mean, if you want to go and have yourself immersed, you can sit on the front row and not be able to see all of the picture. So there you go.
I've never been
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
IMAX before.
They're
Before
really big. They're cool. They're
They're
cool for like
huge.
immersive experiences. Like, but if you're trying to watch a movie, I actually like sit on the back row so I can see the whole screen.
mm,
But
yeah, I remember there was one in Waikiki that was open before I left Hawaii, but I just never made it over there. But yeah, well, whatever. This is, I guess, an inevitable thing in the current situation. But once again, the thing that caught my eye with this headline was the fact that Hollywood's been losing money for years because of their
Yes.
stupidity. So, what's new, right? But
Some of these movies, like if you scroll down there at The Quiet Place 2 and da 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 da,
yeah,
they probably could make most of their money with a digital release of that movie.
probably. Yeah.
Especially if they made it a big event and they put it all over TV that they were gonna do it and da da da. You could charge, whatever, $5 to get a digital ticket, and I bet they'd make a lot of money. I bet they like make a lot of money doing that
Yeah,
actually.
and it's kind of heading that direction anyway. I mean, really, I would expect something like Netflix to, in a way, go back to its origin because they used to be a movie rental place, right? I mean, that's what it was. It was an internet rental, video rental, and I think you'll see them in a way go back to that with streaming movies. I mean, it only makes sense. So,
Yeah, it's coming. It'll. I don't know who they've already kind of done it. Netflix has, but with their own movies, their own actual big budget movies. A couple that they've made. I think they've only made one or two. But I don't see any reason not to do it. Streaming is worldwide. It's set up. The network functions pretty much everywhere. $5. Anybody's got $5 to throw down on a movie. It's a lot cheaper than the $10, and then all the popcorn and everything else. I mean, you're spending a ridiculous amount of money just to go see a movie if you want to actually enjoy the experience. Now, the movie theater experience will still exist. I just think it'll get smaller.
Yeah.
You won't have these big megaplexes anymore. You won't need them.
Well, I actually took one of the one of the old I guess like meet and greet rooms is what a Japanese version of it. I converted it
Hmm.
into like a little home theater. I mean, here in Japan, rooms aren't very big anyway, but I converted it into a little home theater. I got a big, giant, beautiful new TV in there. I got a nice leather couch, and it's perfect, man. And so I mean, I think a lot of people are set up like that actually.
Yeah.
And you can really, I mean, I got a Bose sound system in that room, and it works beautifully. It's awesome.
Right. Because I think for most adults anyway, going to the movies now is more just an event to something to do
Yeah,
more than it is you go there because you want to watch all your movies. Some people are still like that. They go and literally want to watch it every time the first time. They're insane to me because I just couldn't imagine spending all that money on a really terrible movie. But I think the vast majority, especially of younger people, will be perfectly fine with what you're talking about. They set it
yeah,
up on their nice big 50-inch TV. They've got HD stream. Why it's better? It's probably gonna be better quality than it would be at the theater in a lot of theaters, especially older theaters. So I just don't see any reason not to do it other than they're hanging on to a tradition into
yeah.
an industry
You
that
know,
needs to change.
I think the young people will shift this to what you're saying as they get married and such. But I've noticed something with the young generation here, anyway, the young adults and the 20 somethings. Um, they're kind of weird with that. Like I have a situation where I have a computer that I use to stream into the big TV, and
Hmm.
actually I got it set up for two TVs that way. And I always make it full screen, but my kids they'll use their little laptops, right? And they can cast it onto their TV. I mean, they have modern laptops; they can literally cast it, but they
Right.
don't. And they not only do they watch it on their laptop, they don't even expand the screen.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. You go
weird,
to
the young people, the way the way they consume, media. But well, we'll see. I think that will change as they get married and such. But nevertheless, all right, coronavirus, you go.
things get worse.
Yeah, I guess.
Your vision starts to go. Man, I can't see this.
Yeah, I know, right? Right. More coronavirus. Go ahead, Booster.
Oh, good. A coronavirus outbreak leads even to over 450 manga volumes released online for free. Can you watch?
Ooh,
Can you read Digimon for free?
you can. You can.
Digimon,
But
digital monsters, Digimon are the champions.
Oh God. But this is interesting little side effect here. There is little doubt that people are frustrated over the coronavirus outbreak, of course, leading to the cancellation or delay of several events throughout the world. However, it looks like there are still fans out there who are grateful for the situation. After all, it has led to manga publishers releasing over 450 volumes of comics being available to read for free online. That's pretty cool. The announcement comes from Sora News 24, which confirms that Sora means sky, by the way, which
Ah,
confirms that several publishers have decided to release hundreds of manga volumes
I
online.
knew
In
that because I
addition,
play Kingdom Hearts.
oh, there you go. To the new issues, there are back issues currently available to read, and so you get your weekly shonen, you get your Sunday shonen, you get your Kokoro, you have a Betsu, and you have a Ribbon, which is a girl thing. And you got the Hana to Yome. What is Hana to Yome? Flower or no? This is probably flower. Yeah, see, that's the problem with the Japanese. If I don't have a kanji, a lot of times you don't know which meaning it's supposed to have. Mm. So the
Mm.
flower, from flower to Yume, maybe it's talking about her growing up. I don't know. Anyway, that's definitely girl stuff. But this is cool, awesome. And we've seen some of this happening with other things too. I think it's a good idea. We just talked about the digital aspect with Thundero, mentioning they should just start streaming, and he'd be happy to pay for it. I think that this opportunity that we need to see people take advantage of. Here in Japan, like I said, we're starting to come out of the thick of it. I think, but when it initially happened, a lot of people were getting hit, and of course. one of the businesses that are getting hit were, of course, flower companies, florists. And they came up with that idea was, hey, we have to stay home anyway. Why not get flowers to freshen up your room? And they had a big like national campaign came out of nowhere, and they've made more money than they ever have. So I mean, don't let a good emergency go to waste, I guess.
Capitalism, baby. Nothing can't be exploited.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Cool. All right.
Mhm.
But see, this is good. See, we have good coronavirus news. Good coronavirus news.
Yay.
And this all also is kind of a coronavirus news as well. Go ahead, Mister.
The 10 best episodes of Disney's Gargoyles that you can binge on Disney Plus.
Yeah. See,
How is this coronavirus news? Because
stay
we have to
home
stay
and
inside.
binge. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I should rewatch this. I think I can get Disney Plus free for a week. I might as well go through Mandalorian and this.
Yeah. Fair.
Because
Fair.
I was very young when I saw Gargoyles, right?
Yeah.
So I have very brief memories of it, but it's been such a long time.
Gargoyles is fantastic.
It is absolutely
Genuine.
fantastic. Yeah, and I was super lucky that I even got to see this, because at that time in my life, from like '86 to '96, I didn't really watch TV at all. I was just busy doing stuff. And this came out, I was certainly older. And the only reason I saw Gargoyles because I used to go and visit my grandmother, and just to, say hello and stuff. She kind of raised me. She's like my mom, right? So I go over and I say hello to her. And on the day that I go and visit her for spend the afternoon and have some dinner with her, Gargoyles was on, and we'd watch that, and we watch her some mystery show that she liked, some Marple or Murder She Wrote or Jake and the Fat Man or something like that. So I actually got to see this almost in its entirety over the years, and the stuff I missed I checked out later. But Gargoyles is freaking ridiculously good, dude. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
Avatar level good.
Yeah, it's obnoxiously a good series, and it's forgotten because it was in the '90s by a lot of people.
Shouldn't be.
90s were a renaissance, so and really great
Oh,
animation.
Batman
And it
the
was-
animated
Didn't-
series. Oh, come on,
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't Bruce Timm or Paul Dini have a hand in this?
I don't know. It was.
like the-
I don't know.
Wow.
The weird thing about this show is it's basically the voice cast is almost, or not almost all, but quite a lot of them are from Star Trek Next Generation.
No, that's true. That is true. Very much. Goliath was number one, I think, right?
Yeah, Riker. And then the chick, I believe, was the lady who plays Troy.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. They're going episode for episode. That's cool, dude.
Oh.
But that's neat. Disney Plus. I mean, that's something to go watch it for because Gargoyles was great. If you guys haven't seen it, please check it out.
Sorry, the only Paul Dini has nothing to do with this. The only thing Bruce Timm has to do with this is that he said it was crap.
Oh, really? No, he's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely wrong. But cool. So, well, once again, this article is up because it's kind of relating to everyone's having to stay home, and here's something to binge, and of course, give Disney a little bit of love. So, awesome. Because Disney needs a lot of love. They need a lot of love.
Yeah, Disney definitely needs more money.
Disney needs all the money if you can reach deep into your pockets and give everything you have to Disney.
Think of the children.
Because the mouse is practically on the streets right now, guys.
That's right. Just
Right?
should
He
be hooking
only
on the
owns
street.
he
Yeah.
only owns half the world right now.
That's right. That's right. This is cool news, though. I didn't know that they were. I mean, I guess I should have assumed they would be, but I just haven't thought of Gargoyles in a long time. When I saw this article, I was like, "Yeah, baby, yeah, there you go." I don't have Disney Plus though. I haven't got that. My wife is. I mean, I don't really care anyway, but my wife usually is the one that goes after that kind of stuff, like Netflix and Amazon Prime, and she's like, "I don't know, I have to wait and see." I'm like, "Okay, baby." So. Well, we'll see what she thinks in the long run, I suppose. So, anyway, moving along. Oh no.
Alrighty. Game of Thrones and The Witcher actor Christopher Hijiv reports he tested positive for the coronas.
Could you try to pronounce that again, please?
Christopher Hivju.
HIV Jew?
No, no. He's
He
hyping Jew.
is.
That's kind of what it
He
comes
is
off.
an AIDS Jew. That is
It's
correct. He is
it's
an
who
AIDS Jew
you,
who
dude.
has the corona. He is
It's
very unlucky as with the AIDS and corona.
uh,
Please pray
Is
for
that name
him.
Finnish?
it is Scandinavian for sure, but
And he's a
it's
Jew. How
Hugh
bad luck
it's
could you have
Hugh
there, bud?
you, dude. Can you
Hugh,
try again?
Hugh, you, Chester.
All right,
He needs to
fine.
he needs to anglicize that shit. Come on.
Yeah, maybe. But here's the thing, though. I just chose this one because this is I like this character in the Game of Thrones, and he's an obscure one. But I just chose this one over all the other ones
He
because
was one of
Tom
the more
Hanks
fun
is
characters. Yeah.
infected, and his wife Idris Elba is in traction. A whole bunch of the rest of
They
them.
must have all attended the same orgy.
Well, that's my question, Slick. Why are so many Hollywood types and the politicians who like to hang out with that type? Why are so many of them have the coronavirus? What the hell's up with that dude?
Hmm.
It's weird. There's a lot of them, dude. A lot of them.
There was an orgy at the Vatican, and just spread from there.
Ugh.
Maybe, maybe.
The
Uh,
Chinese children they use. That's
I don't know what it is, but I just use him to represent the overall, group. Now, we also have that idiot. What's that kid? That idiot that runs Canada. What's his name?
Trudeau.
Trudeau.
Oh,
Justin
Trudeau. Yeah.
Trudeau.
Oh, blackface Trudeau.
Oh,
Yeah.
blackface Trudeau. Yeah, his wife is tested positive, but he's not. He tested negative, however, but he's still home in isolation for some reason. Okay.
Yeah, he missed the orgy. She didn't.
Yeah, I guess there you go. But
Chester's
well.
got the corona.
No, he just made me cough when I was drinking my freaking coffee, Slick. All right. Moving along, however, but there are many of them, and it's kind of interesting why. You would think in this type of situation, these people who have a lot of money, they would be the ones that would be most safe, right? But yet it's not working out that way, and they're all infected somehow. But then again, the number of people in Hollywood that have some manner of syphilis or some other kind of sexual disease is radically high. I mean, it's shocking when you go look at those lists, dude. And it's actors you would not expect. We went through one of those lists one day, Booster, and we were just like, no, God, no. It was really, really shocking. Anyway,
Brutal.
brutal. Anyway, moving on. Patreon. Oh no, Patreon. Say it
Oh,
isn't
no.
so. Go ahead, dude.
Patreon responds to adult anime artists claiming they are being suspended for artwork showing sexualized depictions of minors. Oh no, this is going to be one of those conversations.
Well, it's not just Patreon; also PayPal.
Yes, liking lolly makes you a pedo. Done.
There you go. But PayPal also has had one of these weeks where basically they're just kicking anyone off of their service that they don't like, right? And PayPal is more troublesome than Patreon. There are other options to Patreon, but PayPal is a rather important internet tool, right? Just like Google is. And we really need to get a hold of these people. Now, I know Thunder is going to have an opinion on this, but and I don't like regulation in that way. I want the internet to be free. But the simple fact of the matter is, Google and these companies are forcing us to govern them. I
Yes.
just, I
No,
don't,
there's antitrust laws for a reason.
yeah.
All of us were like, laissez-faire capitalism. Look at the 1800s and then reevaluate your position.
The problem with antitrust in Google's case is if you take out Google, you're going to hurt the entirety of the internet drastically.
It'll adjust.
Because they basically are the entirety of the internet. They have the 70% of all
That's a problem, though.
traffic flows through Google. So
That's a problem.
the solution isn't necessarily to break them up. The solution is to break off their source codes and nationalize it and make it just like the roads. There's no reason the internet should be considered anything other than infrastructure, just like the roads are. The government
I
should
don't
be.
know. I don't know if I want the government controlling that shit.
They already do. They just pass the buck off to Google because Google's private and getting away with censorship, get away with giving away your stuff. They're not under no obligation to guarantee your Fourth Amendment or your First Amendment or your Fifth Amendment or any of the amendments.
Well, see, now, hold on now. Now, that brings up something in my head, though. What was it? Facebook just last week or something like that won a case. I think it was Facebook, one of these big companies. Maybe it was Twitter. And the judge said that because they're a private company, they are not obliged by the First Amendment. And I'm like, what?
No,
What?
then they need to pick. They need to pick whether they're, excuse me, a publisher or a platform. If they're a platform, then they have to. They have to, just like the telephone company used to, allow people to communicate. If they're a publisher, then they have to start policing everything down the and then they're liable for it.
Yeah, that's right, and that's why they don't do. That's why they don't make a decision. They like the gray area because they get their cake and they can eat it too. But to go back to the thing I just said, a actual freaking federal judge in America said that private company is not obliged by the First Amendment, therefore any other amendment. What? Like
Yes.
what?
And this is why the federal government has propped up Google from the start, because they basically said that they would do everything that they've done for them, give them backdoors into everything, give them the ability to read your messaging in real time, giving you the ability to track every single search you ever do, to the
Yeah,
point now that Google supercomputers can pretty much predict every move you're going to make because they've tracked your searches for so long. So they have such a precise profile on
they
you
do.
that
It's spooky.
fairly accurate predictions what they can
It's
do on what you're going to do in your
spooky,
daily life.
dude. It's
Yeah,
spooky. Yeah. How
Google
many?
needs to be it needs to be broken up, I agree, but then the parts of it that we break off don't need to go back into the private sector. They need to be brought under the Constitution. And the only way to do that is, unfortunately, to nationalize them or to amend the Constitution to make all communications companies and internet companies especially abide by the Constitution. I would rather either of them, but I think nationalizing them is a longer term solution, just because once you start amending the Constitution to include that kind of stuff, it just opens doors for people to include things you don't want.
Mm,
Whereas if you nationalize them, really the only thing that can be included is how much profit they're allowed to make. Basically, the government would get to decide, the private owners, how much they're allowed to make. Kind of like, not exactly, but similar to like chambers of commerce and things
mm,
like that. Those are government agencies, but they're not really. They're privately ran in a lot of places in the country because they have a special tax status or business
yeah.
status. And the
Well,
NFL is the same way. It's a private company, but it's pretty much nationalized because they have a special tax
oh
status.
yeah,
A lot of people.
they get a lot of advantage from that kind of twist in both ways. Yeah, dude, that's true. But it's those D-Wave computers are super spooky, man. Because
Yes.
to give you an example, this happens all the time. But just the other day, I went in and I was looking for from information on ceramics from the 8th century. Right? Now that's a pretty
Mhm.
specific search, would you not say?
Yes.
Right. So I go into my Google, right? And because I was on the tablet, I wasn't on my computer because you guys got me using the DuckDuckGo here now. But
Mhm.
anyway, so I typed in CER, and what popped up as the first choice? Do you think?
Ceramic.
In
The 8th century.
yes,
How does it do that?
I
People like, it
don't
reads your
know.
mind.
It's
People think it.
creepy,
There's
dude.
some people who genuinely believe it reads your mind. No, they just track all of your
I
searches,
know,
no
but
matter where you do them. Or if you're speaking and you're near your phone and you have a Google activated device, it hears you. So as soon
mm,
as you go to
Yeah.
search under an account that you have linked to your phone, it immediately assumes that's what you're searching for and just does it instantly.
mm,
It's extremely creepy. It shouldn't be allowed, but it's allowed because the feds and Google are in bed
mhm,
together, and the feds get all that metadata that they want from Google and other places, and Google gets to basically just be immune to any kind of,
yeah,
anything else, basically market at all, basically. So there's only two solutions that I've ever seen presented that make sense, and those are break it up and then nationalize what you break up into separate smaller companies that do the same thing, that run the infrastructure, or amendment that makes Google abide by the Constitution, makes every company on the internet abide by the
yeah.
Constitution.
And
I
for
like
all
how
of
we
the
got to this from pedo
Oh no,
Patreon anime
I'm gonna
artists.
come back to that, but it's important because it's connected, dude. It is connected, and I know in the chat,
Mhm.
all those guys over there saying Chess is boring. Bite me, all right?
No, that was just me.
Oh God. All right, fine. I can feel it. It's like everybody's eyes were on me. Chester, you search that crap enough that the Google knows it. God. All right, fine. Anyway, let me talk about this a little bit. You have to understand that what a Japanese creator makes and what the West perceives that creation to be are not the same thing, right? This is a very important distinction that needs to be understood, and I'm in a unique position to have an opinion on this particular article. Japan does not do sexy. They don't. They're horrible at it. They don't do sexy at all. As a matter of fact, in my entire time here, I don't think I've ever seen a sexy lady in Japan ever. Now I've seen
Huh,
pretty
okay.
ladies, but I've never seen
All right, you
sexy. They
haven't been
don't.
watching hentai.
Yeah, no, dude. What they do is cute. Now, you might perceive something as being sexy, but that's not what they perceive it as being. The Japanese do cute. They always do cute. Now, if you look at this girl here on the right, she does have a very cute young face, but she also has breasts that are larger than any Japanese woman alive today. So that's not a child, right? Now, if you look at the one on the left, this looks more childlike, but once again, she's more normally drawn as far as the body structure of a Japanese woman. This is not intended to be children. Now, Booster used this word, uh, lolly.
Loli, yeah,
Is this like
Loli. I
some
think it's a
minute?
very weep term, isn't it? Rather
It
than
means lolicon. It's short for lolicon.
Oh, so it's an
And
abbreviation of Lolita. I get it. Okay. But that's not really what it is. Now, I'm sure there are some things that come out like that, but in general, this perception of Japanese manga or anime, it's not what you think it is. That's your perception. That's not the Japanese perception, right?
well, but at some point, you have to take into account that an artist's work grows beyond their own desire,
Yeah,
and it becomes whatever other people perceive it. So you can make a
it's true.
song
That's
about,
fair.
beating the crap out of women, right? And all you're really doing is making a song about how much pain you've been put through by women, and it's just being expressed that way. This happened to Eminem. But the reality is, people hear that and they just hear you talking about beating women, and they get all up in their stuff because they don't want women to get beat. That's just a rough analogy. That's happened to Eminem, with some of his songs,
Mhm.
anti-gay songs, and allegedly anti-gay songs. And he was just basically, you know, expressing himself in a way that obviously nowadays people are sensitive about. But at some point, you do have to take into account as an
Yeah,
artist,
these women
any
need to be beat. Yeah.
anybody,
Oh
you have to
God.
take into
Yeah.
account that your work grows beyond you. And I hate this idea that if an artist is a bad person or did a bad thing, that means their work's now invalid and you can't look at it or like it anymore. Well,
Yeah,
that's just stupid because
it is
work is
dumb.
always should always be bigger than the artist.
It's sure.
So
I would
if
have
a
no
lot of
trouble
people are
putting an Adolf Hitler on my wall. I mean, they're pretty beautiful
yeah,
art. It's not bad.
An original Hitler.
Original Hitler.
if a lot of people like say the audience is perceiving it as pedophilic, erotic art,
Yeah.
then that's really what matters,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
But
Even if
now,
that wasn't your intent.
well, hold on a second now. Now I'm confused, which
Mhm.
is not so uncommon these days. But now the thing with it is, are not these absolutely insane lefties? Are they not
Mhm.
are the ones who have been arguing for what 2 years or more than 2 years now that pedophilia is okay? Haven't they been the
Yes.
ones saying this,
Yes.
right? And
Well,
now all of a sudden it's not. That's
those are
convenient.
pretty much only the blue check Twitter mob retards.
Yes, but that's what
Normal
Patreon
people.
is, dude. Patreon is a blue check Twitter mob thing.
Well, yeah, I think they cave to them. I think Patreon is still about making money.
Yeah, but
I think they're a pretty capitalistic enterprise. I just think they cave to those people because they don't want trouble more
yeah,
than
but
anything.
but
Which is
if
a bigger problem than the mob itself, is
yeah,
the
but
cowards who won't speak up to
if
the mob.
those people say pedophilia is okay, why this attack? It seems very
Because
specific.
the rest of society says it's absolutely not
I don't
okay.
think so.
To
I
them,
don't agree. I think this is
extremely.
specifically attacking people who are making things because they're sexy, and they don't have the right agenda. They don't have the right mind think, and that's why they're being attacked. I bet you this is far more specific than they're letting on. And if you look here, we'd like to clarify a recent rumor about our guidelines. We do not limit any specific style of art, but our guidelines do not allow sexualized depictions of minors. Well, I used Patreon once in my life. right? And that was for Gary Shipman. Now,
Mm.
I supported him for, I don't know, a year and a half or something like that, and I stopped because Patreon was getting more and more stupid. So I was like, no, I'm not supporting Patreon anymore. So I stopped using it. But in that one encounter with Patreon, going on and simply making a Patreon account and setting up for Gary Shipman, I saw tons of this kind of sexualized stuff. Patreon's
Mm.
just absolutely dirty with it, dude. So what are you talking about? This is just more nonsense, is what it is. And of course, once again, First Amendment, back up, right? Because I know another thing that I see a lot of people are mentioning in this article, and I bet you they're accurate, is a lot of these places put up a simple a claim of all characters in this are of legal age or something like that. That's what they say in these articles. So these sites have claimed very clearly that they are not minors. So
Yeah,
what's
I
up
don't
with
care.
that?
I'm perfectly fine. Even if it's anything that reduces pedophilic nonsense on the internet, I'm fine with. So if they
Uh,
want to target people just because of X, Y, and Z reason, okay. It
I
needs it need
I
my
don't.
enemies are very simple. Very,
Yeah,
very
no.
simple. Pedophiles are number one above them all. So if
Yeah,
anything that causes them
Even
intent,
above commies.
even above commies.
yeah,
Commies
What
are a
about
very close second,
what about
but
commie pedos?
oh,
yeah.
they just need to
They're
die.
the
They
worst.
just don't
Yeah.
need to
Well, see, the
Hmm.
yeah,
thing is, I agree with Thundero though. But then again,
yeah.
my libertarian side of me is, unfettered free speech, right? But
And I
I
agree too.
agree. Yeah.
But the problem is when reasonable people like us say that, we don't think about making comic books about children getting screwed in the butt, right? Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
nonsense.
I seriously doubt that's actually what. Well, I shouldn't say that. Uh, well, because I'm
Yeah,
taking for what I
yeah,
know from manga, right? I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not deep into whatever filth that exists, and I'm sure a lot of filth exists. But what I know from manga, there's a lot of characters who look and even might be portrayed as acting young, but they're not young. And it also comes down to law, right? Now, if you go to Mexico, right, for instance, in many places in the world actually, and then you come to this understanding that a 12-year-old girl has the right of choice. Now, I don't mean about babies, I mean about taking sexual partners. A
mm,
12-year-old girl is allowed to make that choice. She can choose to have sex if she wants. And if you go to other countries, the ages
weird.
shift. Here in Japan, it is 16, right? 16-year-old girl is free to make any choices she wants to make. Now, of course, the male fall that is part of the same law, but no one cares about that. All they care, it's always the female's choice, right? And I'm fine with that. But so here in Japan, for them, a high school girl. Why do you think so many, and I mean so many, meaning all of Japanese stories are about high school drama?
Mhm.
Because they are considered adults in a way. They can make those kind of choices. So for here, there's nothing illegal about it. And I guarantee you, every single one of those characters is 16, 17, 18-year-old high school girl, right?
Or they're a 300-year-old magical girl,
Or
and
something
that's how
like
they
that.
can get away with them looking like a 6-year-old
Or
in their
they're
heads anyway.
or they're
It's still
elves or
freaking
something like
weird.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is
I
weird.
just know I'm a big fan of free speech and free expression, but by God, are there things that just challenge that?
Yeah.
And
How
this is
many?
one of them.
How
This is
many?
just one of them.
How many Dai Makura do you have, by the way? Just, okay. Huh?
Only 15. What of it?
Only 15. But anyway, this interesting conversation. I get your point. Slick hasn't given us an opinion on this, but then again, Sugar Lightspeed.
Yeah, yeah. Sugar Light
Okay,
Speed
you
is
want
like
my opinion on this?
14.
All right.
So,
I
oh
think
no,
I've said this before.
yeah,
oh no.
It's only been in the last 100 years that even people been discussing maturation as an issue.
it's true.
Uh oh.
The law in the United States used to be a girl of 10 could have sex, which is abhorrent to me.
It's a bit
But
young. Yeah.
obviously, teenage girls are having sex all the time with teenage boys,
Thank
and
God. Yeah. Okay.
often teenage girls are
No one had sex with me when
let,
I was
let
a teenage boy. It
well, that's
sucked.
because you're whatever. But I mean, I had teenage girls come on to me in my 20s and in my 30s, and I had to put the brakes on that, because that's the nature of
That's what we call
what a
jailbait.
man. Yeah, it's jailbait, but I mean it's a social thing.
Yeah, but it's
However,
also
100
about
years
being a
ago,
man.
that
That's
would have
true.
been, yeah, it's about being a man. You don't do that to young women, especially ones that don't really know what they're doing yet and the consequences, possibly. Back in the 1800s, however, they would have been marriageable age, and you shouldn't have had sex with them until you were married to them, because that was the social contract. The social aspects of that have shifted. Girls still in many states can be married as young as 14. Most of the time, 16 is around where you can get married. But 18 is what most people think is sort of acceptable.
Which
but if you
is
got a
way too
45-year-old, yeah, if you got a 45-year-old man marrying an 18-year-old in our society now, well, that's just robbing the cradle. Whereas back in the day, that would have been some guy taking care of a young woman who needed taken care of, and they'd have children, and then she would have, when he passed away, she would take over what he had.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
this is not an unusual thing throughout the history of humanity. In fact, men often had more than one wife because of the nature. The alpha
Because
would
they
rise,
died
or
they died in childbirth, dude. That was
right, and that sort of thing. That stuff happens, and
Yeah.
it's only with the advent of well, uh, medical technologies as well as contraception that this has shifted in the last about 75 or so years.
Well, it's
Um,
it's more than that,
and so
Slick.
when
It's also about the agenda to take the father out of the equation and turn the
oh,
government into the dad.
I
That's part of
agree.
that.
I agree entirely. And there's an ideological shift that comes out of feminism, which I think is one of the reasons why it's super toxic. However, it doesn't negate the fact that biologically speaking, girls start to maturate earlier,
They
they're
do.
fecund earlier, and
Yeah.
males don't come into their how do I put it?
Maturity.
Their maturity and their ability to take care of said children and wife until a little bit later, and we see that all the time right now with the juvenilization of 20 somethings, and even up
Yeah.
into the early 30s, they haven't gotten their shit together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and historically, and I mean the vast majority of human history, for women it's 14, almost universally across the planet. For boys,
Yeah.
it's a little more open-ended, 16 to 18.
Oh boy. Are we
But
still talking about this?
we
I come back
are,
and you're still
we
on
are,
it.
we are.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's also with the thing with that, Slick. It's with the these days anyway, with the young girl. It's also comes down to the fact that you don't want to steal that from her, right?
No,
Let
I mean,
her
of
have
course
her
not.
life. Let her experience these things naturally. And
And I agree.
yeah, and also for an older dude, I mean, what the hell are you going to do with a young girl anyway? I want a woman who's going to get in there and rock my world. I don't want some stupid girl who's going to lay there and not know what the hell she's doing. That's a fair point. I mean, when you're
I'll
a high
take it.
school kid, you'll take it, but as a man, you don't.
Well, what I'm saying is there's biological, and then there's sociological, and there are sociological changes that have happened now that I think it is a good thing to let females to maturate, get into their 20s, into their birthing years. Problem is they're
Yeah,
not having children now in those proper times. They're waiting till their 30s, sometimes their
yeah,
40s,
but
and then they're wondering why they're sitting around fucking cats
yeah,
because
no,
they've had
that's
sex
true.
with a whole bunch of different men,
Mhm.
possibly gotten pregnant with some guy, some rando, and then they have a child out of wedlock. The child has problems because they don't have two parents, and then feminism says that's fucking wonderful because we're just sperm donors, and as soon as we can figure out how to get rid of generate that without us, then
Ding,
they're
ding,
they're gonna
indeed.
phase us out.
Yeah. Well,
What?
This conversation
I
went
know.
from destroying Google
Yeah,
to nationalizing the internet,
yeah,
back to pedophiles,
yeah.
to age consent laws, and
Yeah.
then
Can
to
we-
the physiology and sociology of women and their sexual reproduction.
That's right.
Can
Well,
we
What
just
is
say?
this conversation?
well, yeah.
Can we just say Lolly is pedo and move on?
Yep. Next.
All right, agreed. All right. Disney's Mulan accused of being too white behind the camera.
We go from pedos to racists right
Yes,
away, just
thank you.
instantly.
Thank you.
Ugh.
Orchestrated
Thunder, I
even.
think you should turn off your mic again. You're just It's just flustering you way too much.
Now, here's the thing with Mulan. It has been pushed back. It's one of those films that was pushed back. But this film is dead on arrival anyway. This is got so many of those
Watch it make a
million
billion.
moms very angry. And the Chinese are absolutely besides themselves. And then what happens? Disney goes and changes it. So understand that the movie that the Chinese will be watching is not the one that the West will be watching. In the Chinese one, there will be no lesbianism, any of the other nonsense of separating her away from the general because of Me Too. All of that has been removed. So they will be getting in China the actual story of Mulan. In the West, you don't have the general. He's taken out because you can't have a man in power with a woman, which is odd, seeing as that is the history of freaking mankind. And you also they have the lesbianism that is certainly in there, which absolutely destroys the whole concept of Mulan because some moron thinks Mulan is all about the fact that she helped her family and became a man to get into the military. No, she helped her family by being a man coming in, so her father didn't have to go because he was too old and he would certainly died. The rest of the story is about a love story between her and the general. That's the whole damn point. It's not about her being woke. It's not about super feminism. It's quite the opposite. It's about her finding herself. It's a coming of age story, and it's a love story, right?
And she was probably
how's it-
14.
And she's probably 14. Yeah.
How relieved do you think the general was to find out Mulan was a chick? He's like, oh, thank God, I was so
Oh,
confused.
he knew already. Because there were plenty of people who knew because they were at that. This is based on a historical event, actually. Now, the Mulan story itself, is it actually a real person or not? We don't know. But there was a age of war in China, which there were many. But at that time, there were a lot of girls kind of trying to sneak in the military to keep their elderly fathers from having to go because there was a war and a lot of people were lost and there was a lot of disease running around and a lot of older men had taken younger wives because their other wives had died or died in childbirth or something like that. So you had a lot of older dudes that were married to younger ladies and therefore they were pretty old when their children were running around and this was not an uncommon thing. And the generals were in such a situation that they weren't supposed to be there, but they needed the manpower, so they just kind of turned their eye to it. That's what happened historically. So the general, even in the story, he knew from the beginning that she was female, but that's not the point. Right, but they want to push the whole thing of her hiding as a man as being the main part of the story. It's really not, though. But it couldn't happen to a better movie. So I don't know what this too white behind the camera is, because I don't care about
I'm
that.
surprised they didn't make her into trans. She actually was trans. That's why she did that.
Yeah, because that's all about empowering women. The whole trans thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what triggers me about this. Is they couldn't find a pretty Chinese woman. Like, she's just plain.
No, she's not ugly. I mean,
She's not ugly, but she's plain.
she's no Shu Qi. You remember her from
Oh God,
First
yeah.
Transporter?
She is a bit plain though, dude. She is kind of plain, and I know. I'm well aware of the levels of beauty or not beauty in Asia. I am well experienced with the Asian face.
Chinese women are gorgeous,
Yeah,
like,
she's
stunning.
she's
And
very
she's
plain.
not even. Yeah, she's. I mean, she's all right, but she's not gonna change the
But
world.
that's
with her
done
face.
intentionally because this movie isn't about the male gaze. This movie is about lesbianism.
Yeah, so the men just won't watch it. All right.
Yeah,
Have
no,
fun,
of
Disney.
course not. They say, well, they tell us it's not for you. Okay, no
Okay.
problem. Yeah,
I will
Shut up.
save my $12.
Shut out all the men.
yeah, just cut 'em out.
We'll just watch another fucking John Wick.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
And Slick is
There you go.
definitely on the ding ding today. But and I'm sure she's just the most amazing fighter and just
Oh,
kicks
I'm
everyone's
sorry.
butt.
I'll try not to say fuck.
Oh,
Okay.
thank
Here's
you.
the problem
Thank you.
with the too white stuff is it's just pure, unfiltered racism and hatred against white people.
It is.
Who cares
But
how many white people work behind the scenes on the movie? The movie is about China, and it's full of Chinese and Asian people. I
Okay.
thought the problem was we need representation. You're getting a whole movie about it.
Yep.
And
Now-
you're still complaining that there's a bunch of Jews and white people behind the scenes running, making the movie, giving you what you want.
now,
Is that what they're complaining about? The people
no.
who actually Made it?
I'm trying to get to that. Kent, who is the editor-in-chief of at Off Color, I'm sure that's a wonderful place, wrote an article for Metro, and complaining about the whiteness. So I'm gonna find out who this Keshav Kant is. I kind of have a feeling I know what this person looks like, but let's just make sure. Let's just make sure, okay? All right, here we go.
Let's do that.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure.
Let's do that,
Here's
Chester.
a Twitter.
Wait, what?
All right.
Oh,
Account
what?
suspended.
Uh-oh.
Oh
What have you been
no.
up to?
Oh goodness gracious. Let's see here.
Oh,
These are the kind of guys that look like they're going to be asking for Bob's and Vagine.
I'm not really sure if this is the one we're looking for though. Let's just look at the general imagery and see if we can't pick one. I think this one will be our choice right here. This is the one.
Absolutely. Hello, dear. Very nice Bobs. Please
He's-
send pics of Vagine.
Or maybe
Oh,
this
God.
one. This
He-
one here. Yeah. This one's perfect.
He looks like a South Asian serial killer. That first guy.
people to one time go to China or Hong Kong into their movies that they make, their
Ooh,
propaganda,
that's a winner.
and complain that there's way too much yellow. Because
Where are
apparently
the
He
white
looks like
men?
he
their skin behind the
looks
camera.
like a Middle Eastern Brigham Young with that.
No, that's
beard.
a terrorist right there. That's what that is.
What's up with his hair? His hair is so nice. But then, like, the beard, what's up with
Yeah,
that?
He's
I
very
don't.
groomed. He's
I-
very groomed.
Well, I don't know which one is which, but I can see that we've understood that this is an Indian name. Okay, so an Indian is having this opinion, and it's a male name, it seems as well. So whatever, dude, whatever. You do you, but yeah, it is unfortunately she's not a little prettier, but that's quite intentional, I guess.
That checker.
Yeah, dude. If it moves, you're on it. We know that.
Yep.
If it moves, it grooves.
All right, go ahead, Booster. Next one.
Captain America actor Chris Evans accuses President Donald Trump of running off stage amidst coronavirus pandemic.
Okay. Now, okay, Mr.
Wait,
Evans.
wait a second, Chester.
Mhm.
Go back to. Do you still have your search up of Mr. Kant? Of
I
Keshav
do.
Kant?
I do not.
I have
but
found Mr. Keshav Kant's, apparently it was the Metro.uk. I have found his little profile that he has on there.
well, then I'll come
And
over
it
and white box you. How about that?
It was the one with the, oh, hang on. How do I do that? How do I share screen? Hang on.
You could go up
It
to
was
the
the
three
one-
dots.
Three dots.
Hang on, I gotta put
It's
it
kind of
on
like
this.
the three
Yeah,
shells.
put your porn. Make sure your porn's put away.
I don't have any porn up at the moment.
See, no one's going to
Yeah.
bite on my Demolition Man reference, really?
Yeah, no, we got it. It just
Shut
yeah.
God.
You got to work on your timing.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm horrible at timing. Yeah. But to be fair, I do try to make a lot of
Come
jokes. They
on,
don't
take the
all hit.
ribbing.
They don't all hit. You're
All
right.
right.
You're right.
Here we go. Here we come.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh
Here we go.
no,
That's
Ooh.
no.
Dude, you need to
Oof.
blow that up, please.
Ooh, that's
Holy
a train wreck right
crap,
there.
dude.
Your movie is problematic.
What the hell is
Fix it.
wrong with you, dude?
Oh my gosh, that's the definition. That and then the dictionary definition picture right next to problematic. Whoa.
Look at that chin.
I want to understand what the hell happened to drag queens. They used to be kind of cool, actually. What the hell happened to the transvestites,
When they were
dude?
fun,
Yeah, but they
I
want
went
to
to a
be
drag. I went to a
disturbing
drag
and
place. They're
clownish.
fun.
They are fun.
They were
Yeah, they used to be.
and they were nice, and they were sweet, and they sang fun stuff, and they danced around, and they didn't make you feel like shit.
Mhm. All right, this
It's of course the worst caricature we could ever imagine.
Oh my goodness, man!
Who is that tall as hell Indian wrestler?
The great
the Great
The Great
Khali.
Yeah,
Khali,
he has
yeah.
the same. He has the same chin as that guy. I think that is him.
That guy wishes him so he could take the back hole at will.
Oy.
Goodness gracious.
All right. Oh no.
There he is.
I found
Oy
him.
vey.
In all of his
Oy
glory.
vey.
Oh boy.
That's brutal. This is
All right.
this is brutal.
I don't. Oh,
I think this is my new Ezra Miller.
my God, dude. It's like, I mean, the
I can't
desperation on
believe
these
it.
people it's really interesting to me. They're so desperate. And
Those are some crazy lip color, man.
Yeah, can you imagine taking that much time to put on your lips as a guy?
Here's
well,
the
he's
weird
not a
Or as
guy.
a
He's clearly not
as
a
a
guy.
male?
Yeah.
As a male?
You
Anyway,
want to
let's.
make fun of this, but there's literally nothing you could say that would be worse than what you're looking
Yeah.
at.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you win. You've beaten any kind of mockery I can give you just by
Yeah.
existing.
Yeah,
We're gonna
fair.
be
done.
we're gonna be accused of being haters. You know
I'm
that.
sure
We're,
because
we're
we
just
are.
hate speech.
But let's come back to this article.
We're not saying that we want him euthanized. He has a right to live. It's just wow. Those
No,
are
we
some interesting
what?
choices in fashion.
How did that come into the
Euthanize-
conversation?
No, we don't
No
know
one
what
that's
said
what people
anything
would
about
say.
euthanization.
That's-
Jesus, Kevorkian.
yeah.
Goodness
Oh man.
gracious. Now, hold on a second. Let's get back to this article because this one I think is very interesting. Now, we know Chris Evans is an absolute broken SJW cuck. We know this, right? We forgive him a little bit because he
Scientifically.
does a pretty good job as Captain America and he takes it seriously. So, all right, fine. But here's the thing these guys keep making the most ridiculous comments. He's running off stage because of coronavirus. Donald Trump is working every day. He's on in front of you every day making statements to the press every day. This guy's always a hard worker. We know he's a hard worker, whether you like him or not. But with the coronavirus, this dude has been on it every day. He's handled this situation better than I've seen any president handle these kind of situations. How can you say he's running off stage? The dude is in front of the camera every day, Chris. I mean,
But he
come
plays
on,
golf
man.
sometimes. It's really bad that he plays golf sometimes.
Yeah, but what does that have? Every day he's in front of the freaking camera, dude. He
Yeah,
doesn't
No,
have
no,
to
you don't
spend
understand.
20.
Playing golf, that's what
Yeah.
the privileged do.
Yeah.
To the point, he's so hectic right now. You can tell just by looking at him. He actually looks tired. It's the first time in his
Oh, he
presidency
does look tired lately.
he's actually tired to the point where he's not even doing his hair anymore. He's just putting a hat on. Every one of these press conferences he just has one of those hats like that on.
Yeah.
Because they're not even taking the time to do his hair because he's just.
Well, I mean, Pence looks tired. Have you seen Pence? See, they both look tired. This is wearing on him.
Yeah.
Well, because
This
it's
is
an
the first
actual.
time in their administration that's happened. They both looked super energetic and haven't looked like they've aged at all. Granted, they're already pretty old, but haven't looked like usually when you're a president, you age real quick in that job.
Yeah, but that shows me that they're working hard, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it shows me. Yeah, and we know also that they're taking it very seriously because we see him every day. We also know he's taking it seriously because he's reading from scripts, which he never does. But they're making sure that every word is chosen very carefully, and so he's doing that. But this is just a ridiculous statement from him. I mean, if you want to say you don't like what he says on Twitter, you think he's buffoonish or thuggish, you don't like the fact that he's not a statesman, all these kind of things. You don't like the fact of how he looks at women sexually because he's a man, Chris. If you don't like these things, fine, go at it. But this is nonsense. This is a ridiculous statement, and the problem with it is Chris Evans has push, right? I mean, he is a big mega celebrity, and there's a lot of dumb people who just follow them like drooling dogs and do whatever they say, and this is a problem. And it's irresponsible of him to make these kinds of statements. It just is.
I agree. When you see that last line, America doesn't want a president who runs off stage during a crisis and lets Mike Pence do all the talking. What he's doing there is the president. Anybody who understands what the president does, he has more than one, subject to cover.
Yes.
As president, and he's delegated it to Mike Pence to do this really important thing as vice president. That's not a stupid thing to do. That's what vice presidents are for. These people they're literally so ideologically indoctrinated that they've become stupid. They don't listen. They don't think. They don't. spend a little bit of time cogitating about what the situation actually is. I'm sure that President Trump has a whole has an agenda. These things he has to tick off every day, and coronavirus is a big one. But there's other shit going on in the world and in the country that he has to address every day.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, there are some big things going on. For instance, Turkey is basically declaring war on Europe right now, and they're using immigrants as weapons. Greece and Bulgaria and various other countries are standing up to it, of course. You'll also have the situation in the Middle East. I don't know if people are paying attention to this because every day you have the damn coronavirus all over your news. But we just had a general from the come out representing the Pentagon on what and talking about we dropping a bunch of missiles on Hezbollah stuff and basically things directed by Iran that is heating up. And that general came out and made a statement. He was like, plain and simple, we're not playing games anymore. If Iran doesn't back up, it's going to get ugly. And he came out when he come out on this Pentagon statement. He was a 4-star general in full battle fatigues. That's a statement, right? They usually don't do that. And that is happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. So if you think the president doesn't have other things on his plate, you're out your damn mind, right?
Well, if Erdogan wants to get belligerent, let's take back Constantinople.
Yeah, well, I think we should. Yeah, that's something I could get behind. But I'm just saying, it's really, really, really nonsense coming out of Chris Evans. I don't expect anything but nonsense out of him. But it's we it really frustrates me, dude. And we don't see our generals. We haven't seen our generals do this kind of stuff in a while. And I made this statement before. The simple fact of the matter is, Trump is actually an extremely dangerous president, right? In one way, because what he does is he lets the experts do their job. Right. And Obama, for instance, he hated the military. He never used them. He used the CIA and their drone weapons and stuff. He couldn't stand the military. Right. But Trump isn't like that. He said, okay, Mr. General, we've given you a bunch of money. Go get your job done. And not only did this 4-star general in battle fatigues come on, they used the Pentagon CENTCOM to deliver the message. Now, dude, I mean, that is if you want to make a statement, you can't make a statement more than that. And with Trump just letting the military do what they do, this is a dangerous thing because the military, American military, will get that shit done, dude. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that Trump's having to deal with, and him putting Pence on it, who actually has experience with this kind of stuff in his political life. He's not a bad
Let's let
choice.
the military do their stuff without embedded journalists either. Just let them do their stuff.
Well, that's Vietnam kind of started that. Well, even World War II had some of that. But
well, I don't mind like the military journalists. That's fine. Just I'm embedded. These yahoos right now, they don't need to be there. They'll just make things worse.
It's true. But this statement from Chris Evans is a ridiculous one. And it's really it's just so makes me sad, dude. Makes me sad. Anyway, last story of the day. Another winner.
Alrighty, Star Wars novelist Ray Carson proves Lucasfilm is hiring people who don't know Star Wars.
Shocking.
That's a shocker. I mean, wow. Who would have thought that?
Man, they tried so hard to hide her boobs, didn't they?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
everything
So
they
hard.
could.
Yeah. Star Wars novelist Ray Carson, a novelist for Star Wars even, recently continued to prove the theory that Lucasfilm was hiring people who don't know Star Wars. Carson, who is the author of the upcoming Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker novelization, Most Wanted, and the short stories Hear Nothing, See Nothing, Say Nothing, and that's not political, and the red one, took to Twitter to reveal a Star Wars moment that brought her unqualified, uncontained joy. Okay. Carson wrote, I desperately wanted to see a girl Jedi on the big screen. So in The Force Awakens, when the lightsaber whips past Kylo's hand to land in Rey's instead, I still get weepy thinking about it. I waited 40 years for that moment. Okay, you've not seen a Star Wars movie.
You're
Claire.
not 40 years old. Shut
Yeah.
up. What do you-
Yeah. Hey guys, there's never been a female Jedi before. Hey guys,
There was
guys.
literally a female Jedi Master in the prequels. Jedi Master.
Yeah, they're on the council, dude.
Yeah.
But she's never seen them like grab a Jedi out of the air. That was the important part.
Yeah, and these are some choices here, but there are more than that, though. It's not just these five. There's more, right? And of course, Ahsoka is one of the most popular female Jedi, I would think.
Mara Jade, but she was in the books and comics and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, she isn't in movies, and all that, but she's definitely a serious contender for like a Jedi. You know,
She should have been in movies, but no,
Joe,
we can't.
they should have. Oh my, I totally agree.
Yeah.
They should have gone there. That's what they should have done.
Yeah. Why don't
I
we?
mean, everybody
Yeah.
loved that story.
Yeah. Why don't we have
We
an
can't have
Ahsoka movie? I agree. Yeah, but let me
Yeah,
look.
Ahsoka, Mara, there's plenty of awesome women in the real Star Wars canon,
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
Star Wars lore. They just didn't put them into movies because Lucas didn't want to make more movies until he did randomly, and I think he probably would have got there on his own without the ridiculous Mary Sue that is Rey Skywalker.
Well, he was planning on turning Leia into a Jedi. That was his plan. He just
Yes.
never
That would have been fine.
He went. It would have been fine. But look at this person's comments here. Jesus, all these dudes in my mentions pointing out the female Jedi in the prequel trilogy who have no roles and die horribly. Once again,
Like all the rest
you
of the
don't.
males too.
Yeah, everybody.
All
Yeah.
these guys are my mentions.
All but what, like 5 survive in the movie?
But like, I guess I should have been happy with some quick cameos. I mean, that's all we women deserve. Am I right? Once
That's
you
what
again,
women
deserve.
like you deserve. Yes.
you don't
Yeah.
know Star Wars. Clearly not. Asajj Ventress is true because a Sith, to be fair. But Ahsoka is the answer. Because a lot of Jedi die. We've seen nearly all Jedi die. Matter of fact, in the prequels. But not many people survive. So Ahsoka is actually a top tier character, right?
Yeah, and she does survive. She survives the purge. Um,
She
it's
does. Yeah.
ridiculous. It's still, to me, it's an indictment on your own character. If you cannot, maybe you just don't like the movies, that's fine. But if you can't watch the saga of Luke Skywalker from beginning to end and not identify with him at all, there's either or one of the other
Yeah.
characters.
There's something fundamentally wrong with your powers of,
wrong with
sympathetic and empathetic, and
Yes,
there's
as a
something
person,
wrong with you.
you're a
You-
narcissist or something. There's something up because it's the best hero's journey ever told in sci-fi on a grand scale
Yep.
that I can think.
But here's another problem, guys. She is writing the Rise of Skywalker novelization. All right, fine. But she's also writing Most Wanted Star Wars book, and she's also doing probably an anthology or something with 2 other short stories. This person has been given a lot of Star Wars work. So let's go take a look at her and let's see if she has. Oh my God.
Whoa, same person.
I'm about to
Alright.
make that my icon, my profile
So
picture.
here we go.
Incredible.
Ray Carson, author. Let's take a look at what she does. All right. So let's look at her Amazon. All right.
Okay, let's go, Ray Carson.
All right.
All right.
So
The Bitter Kingdom.
mhm,
Okay.
Crown of Embers. All right. What
Done
is
a few
this?
Star Wars
Go
books.
away. All right. Let's see. The Bitter Kingdom. Let's take a look at it. Let's see what it's about. There must be a synopsis in here somewhere.
Oh, what do we got? What do we got?
The third book in Ray Carson's award-winning New York Times best-selling trilogy I've never heard of. In the deeply satisfying conclusion, 17-year-old sorceress queen Eliza travels into the unknown realms of the enemy to win back her true love,
Good God.
save her country, and uncover the final secrets of her destiny. Perfect for fans of Tamora Pierce and Brandon. Okay.
What are those?
I don't know. Her
The champion must not waver. The champion must not fear. The gate of darkness closes. Elijah is a fugitive. Her enemies have.
yeah,
Wait,
there's
so
enough of
she's
that.
fugitive. What? She's everything. She's a character that does
Yeah, well,
everything.
that's the way
Apparently,
they do that, which is
She
not
gets all the
necessarily a bad
toys.
thing, right? People seem to
if it's
like
done
it.
well, that can make sense. But I don't. I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
So, but the girl of Fire and Thorns, Empire Dream. So these are all female-centric stuff, which is, I guess, fine. But yeah, no, she's written a bunch of stuff. She's got Girls of Fire and Thorns, which is obviously a take on Game of Thrones. Um, so, oh, whatever. But I mean, lady, you're just a hater. You're just a hater,
It's
and
frustrating me that you can say things like that. Like I was so excited to have a female Jedi. Why does that matter to you so much? What is wrong with you? Why does it matter to you so much what's dangling between or not between the person's legs instead of the content of that person's character? Why
yeah,
did they don't even do that the introspection? Why it matters so much that they have the same genitals or skin color as you
yeah.
that you can't identify with somebody who doesn't.
Well, when the Star Wars was coming back, I had a little bit of reservation simply because Disney was involved, but the hype for The Force Awakens was I had never seen anything like it in my lifetime. And was caught up in the excitement. Oh, cool, we'll go see it. And we all knew Rey was the main character, and I don't remember anyone caring.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
It
All I
was
remember is people speculating who she was. Is she a Skywalker?
Yeah,
You know,
that's
all
right.
that was already. Yeah, that's all I
Yeah.
remember. I don't remember
Yeah.
anybody being like, "I don't want a female to lead. I don't want a female Jedi." No, nobody
No,
cares.
none of that. And when watched the first movie, it didn't live up to the expectations. But I mean, I was like, all right, let's see where they go with it. That I didn't hate it at all, and I didn't hear anybody else really hating on it either. And then they started with this crap. And it's like, why are you killing the momentum you had going for it? I mean, there's no reason to it. No one cares she's female. No one has any problem with the females Jedi at all. Matter of fact, it's a lot easier to write a story of a female Jedi and over just a normal woman because they have magical power, right?
They have space magic. Yeah.
They have space magic. So I mean, no one cared, but you made it an issue, and they continue to do so, right?
And the worst part is as much as you say that, the reality is in that movie, besides Finn, she was the weakest character because she could just do everything with no conflict. It was just easy, and
Yeah,
that's
no,
not a good.
it
Nobody
wasn't a
wants to.
great movie. But in truth, out of the first movie, the one the character I was most interested in was Finn, though.
Yeah, just because you didn't know where they were going with him, but then
Yeah.
they went nowhere with him. So good job, guys.
Yeah, and I was very indifferent to Rey, which I still am indifferent to Rey. But the only character in the original movie I really, really didn't like, other than just the absolute mass of plot holes, But putting that aside, the real only character I really didn't like was that stupid Poe Dameron. I do not like that character at all.
He was clearly trying too hard to be Han Solo. Like he was a
Yeah,
guy
but
trying to play a guy that's like Han Solo, and it's just you can't if you're not Harrison Ford, you can't be Han Solo, guy.
no, you
Know
can't.
this.
That's fair.
He's just too charismatic. You can't do it.
All right. Well, anyway, so a lot of news, a lot of coronavirus news, which is always wonderful. And let me come over here and check the chat before we get out of here. Got a bunch of you guys in here. We do appreciate you. Let me see if anything interesting. We got Ninja in here. He says, "Hey everyone, what is this that I've stumbled upon? You've stumbled upon boosters ranting and raging." Nick made a lot of statements today, but he retracted them. It's all right, dude. You're good. Don't worry about it. Booster has never been laid, and Jimmy is a perv. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It sounds about right. Slick is on the ding dong. That's gross.
I am not a perv. I'm a liberated libertine man.
Is
So
that
a perv,
is that
all
how
right.
that's how they usually call that these days? Claudio says Captain
I
Trips
didn't like
blue lips. Well, first of all, Claudio, we bow to your manliness, sir.
Hail
Uh,
Claudio. Yes, yes.
yeah. And Ninja makes a very good point. Chris Evans is Nazi Cap. He is Hydra Cap. Yeah, he is. Unfortunately, in real life. Yeah. Couldn't globalists take advantage of the coronavirus? Don't you think they are? I'm sure they are, dude. These
True.
people are always looking for opportunity. And once again, that's not a conspiracy theory. Rich people trying to stay rich and take power, not a conspiracy theory. We get Rebel Comics and we get Ninja in here. Yeah, Rebel, didn't he send me some kind of link about wanting to jump on? Oh, well, I forgot. I'm sorry. I apologize if you were waiting for me to send you a link. Dave says Disney executed their own Order 66. Oof. Goodness gracious. But there's a list from Nick. He says Nami Sunrider, Bastilla Shawn, Kara Holt, Mara Jade, and Jaina Solo don't matter to her because she never liked Star Wars. And of course, if you read a lot of the novelization and not just this new stuff, the prequel stuff, if you go back, you do realize that in the 70s and early 80s, it was very popular to read. Yeah. And there was a lot of books I read at that time, not just Call of the Wild and all that other crap you're supposed to read, but I read a lot of Star Trek novels. I read a lot of Star Wars novels. And you know what? There was a lot of women in those books long before
Yeah.
the prequel came out. Right now, he didn't use any of that, and that's all been made non-canon now. But that stuff, and I actually preferred the direction they were heading with continuing the story, aside from what frickin' Jar Jar came up with. That would have been much better, the stuff they did back in the early 80s with all those books. But it's just nonsense. Thundero, look at her haircut. That's fair. That's fair. Poe wasn't even the first movie much. Wasn't even in the first movie much, I think is what he want to say. I just don't like the character. I find him annoying and arrogant in an unfun way. I mean, because Harrison's Solo had a bit of arrogance to him, sure. I don't know if I would call it arrogance, I'd say confidence. But Poe was just annoying. I just found him extremely annoying. I don't know why. I liked Finn. I think they wasted that character. I was indifferent to Ray. Kylo, I was okay with. It was kind of a dumb character, but Adam Driver is a really good actor. So
Yeah, it's a shame that that script completely failed him because he is a fantastic actor and he could have really played that tortured, dark, brooding guy. But they
I
didn't give
like
him.
when he says the N word in that one movie.
They gave him whiny and bitchy instead of dark and brooding, and that's exactly what.
Well-
That's how he acted. He
well-
did what they told him.
Well, we know now why they did that, though. Now that we've seen the whole thing, we've seen what's transpired. They did that because they wanted to. They wanted to reduce him. It's supposed to
Yes.
all be about Ray. We got to make sure she's on top, so we can't give her an actual threat. We have to give her this pouty, angry young man who has no control of himself, which doesn't make any sense. He's supposed to be a freaking Jedi, which takes a certain amount of concentration and control to use the power. Training, right? But they did that intentionally. So.
And then in the final movie, they have him just mollywop her and stomp her out in a fight. Like he just beats the snot out of her. Because why is he? It's so dumb. It's
Especially
so dumb.
she beat him twice already, right? But the whole thing's a hot mess. It's poorly written, and that's a lot of the problems we run into these days. Affirmative action is a cancer. It is. And it's more of a cancer to the people you're trying to help than anybody, because this is all a type of affirmative action. People are getting jobs who don't deserve it. They haven't earned it. Meritocracy succeeds because it is the efficient and proper way to do things, right? But that's not where we're getting. And this Ray lady, I don't know her writing, but I'm having a feeling that she's probably not as good as she thinks she is. So
I would agree.
I agree too. Hey, Booster, can you do me a favor? Quick?
Yeah?
Can you say Mega Man?
oh my God, here we go.
Oh yes, Mega Man. Yes. That's what I'm gonna name my cat after
Mega?
the H.P. Lovecraft's.
Oh
He's
no, let's
working
not
on
let's
it.
not
Mega Man.
let's not and say we did, shall we? Yeah?
Mega Man.
My God.
What's
This
Look
is
at that
Mega?
Mega Man over there.
This is the world I've had to come into, guys. This is my life now, right?
You created this world, Chester.
It's true. It is
That
true.
Mega Man is sure a nagger. I tell you what.
Oh my
It's always-
god.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, Booster, you got any closing comments?
Me, just little me. Oh, not much.
You do
Just
have an
that I have a
announcement.
new
Come
shows
on.
on Friday, 10 p.m. EST, Booster's very own show, which I created just so I could say the C word.
Okay.
Booster.
But don't you also have a Thursday show this week?
I also have a Thursday
Jesus
show, which is a Thursday, 10 p.m. EST. I'll be replacing the Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition this week with Booster's very own drawing show, where I am going to demand that the artists use MS Paint and a mouse, just like I do, so that they can feel my pain.
Yeah,
Free
big bad
Dinale.
Booster coming, bringing the heat.
Free Dinale. Yeah, I don't know that how Dinale is captured, but I agree. Free Dinale. Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Let me see. Today, I think I'm going to have Thundero give the namaste today. Slick, you got anything to say? You still have a book in demand, I think.
And I do have a book in demand, and I do have a show that'll be in about 30 minutes right now over
Ooh.
on Slick Jimmy Speaks. You can find me there, and you can also find me on the Twitters at Slick Jimmy Love, at Slick Jimmy Love, if you want to say some stuff to me, and I will usually respond. Go check out Little Girl Leaf on Indiegogo. Have a good day. See me
Sweet.
there.
Awesome, dude. Definitely check that out, guys. And keep in mind that tomorrow we have the beginning of the new campaign with Comic Book Bob running the D&D session. I know Nerd is coming at me from several sides. I get it. But we have fun with that. And if you want to enjoy that with us, please do come over. And of course, keep in mind that this week we do not have a Drone and Quartered, as you just heard. Booster's going to be covering it. But on the
I'm gonna try
Wednesday,
to, if I have people
I think it'll be
interested.
fun. I think it'll
I
be
hope
fine.
that's if I get some artists who are interested. They want to torment themselves and be laughed at. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. But
Yeah.
on Wednesday, we do have Nasser Rabadi and possibly Jiminy Cricket coming on to talk about their new book. That should be interesting, of course, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, other than that, thank you guys very much. I really enjoy you coming over here and being part of what we're doing, of course. And it is time for the Thundero, and he's going to give us such a namaste that it'll make Booster's Nether Region's Twitter page.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Vibrant.
I've been known.
Like a defining rod.
I have been known. All right. Well, America anyway is going to hell in a handbasket pretty quickly. Stock market's crashing. You got soft quarantines happening all over the country. A few counties, I guess, have instituted basically hard quarantines without calling them that. This is all a good thing, though. This is like I said at the beginning of the show. America needed this, I think. I think we needed a wake-up call. We got too soft. We got too comfortable. We needed to be reminded by nature that all of this goes away in an instant. Doesn't take long. But the one good thing, the one thing that's constant, and if it doesn't happen one day, we're all dead anyway, is that tomorrow morning, that sun's going to rise. All you have to do is just keep breathing, because tomorrow, that sun will rise, and sunlight is magic. It'll make you feel better.
Breaking news: sun will no longer rise and oxygen is gone.
Namaste.
Or the sun gets upset and burns us all away.
That's fair.
That
That's
could
fair.
happen.
But do keep in mind that Mother Nature's intent on a daily basis is to kill your ass.
That's right.
Later.
America, enjoy your bitch slap.
Aloha.